Right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power. Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four winds of the earth, that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth, primarily by the men of Great Millstone, all right, who also are in hope of mercy and salvation during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth, all right? I'm going to try to make this pretty quick. I was, reading or actually listening to Galatians 5, really the whole book of Galatians. And I'm going to entitle this, Don't Let the Drinking Demon Get You Thrown to the Wayside. Okay? Don't let that drinking demon get you thrown to the wayside. All right? And, to whom this may apply, this is just in the spirit. Here we are at the final stretch, and you have brothers out there, or you may have brothers out there who are being out of character by way of the alcohol. All right, and this spirit comes up every now and then within the body. And most of the time when this spirit is on a brother, it's, he's dealing with something. Instead of using the tools Yahweh Shai gave us, all right, which is fasting and praying, you turn to that bottle, all right, and that bottle, it's the reason why they call liquor spirits, because it comes with spirits, all right. Our tools to fight off these spirits that Satan throw at us, all right, whether it be the spirit of doubt, spirit of having weak faith, all right, you're not a man of the Lord, look, see, you can't even remember the precept, you can't even keep yourself awake while you're reading. It's all kind of ways Satan comes at us and try to plague our mind to make it seem like we're not doing the right thing. All right? And you got to recognize Satan when he's attacking. All right? And the best way to recognize it is when you out of the spirit, when you're not walking in the spirit. And when you turn to that bottle, all right, and then you get to acting out of character, you definitely are not in the spirit. All right? You allowing those spirits to control you. All right? Therefore, you're losing that battle within yourself, because it's not a battle with no one else. All right? It's a battle within yourself. Okay? Paul spoke about that in 2 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. Let's get that real quick. We'll come back to this. Okay? Paul spoke about that and called himself a wretched man. Okay? Oh, not 2 Corinthians, Romans 7. Okay? Romans 7th chapter, right? Because each of us, we all are battling our own demons. Okay? And you got to learn to fight. All right? And like I said, Yahweh Shai gave us the tools to fight. And I'll get that scripture next. I'm going to start at we'll start at 14 and read down. All right, this is Paul speaking to the Romans. All right, Romans 7 and 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. All right, and you gotta realize that in this thing, you're not gonna keep the laws of the Heavenly Father perfect. All right, you gonna slip up. You might forget about the Shabbat and be cooking on the Shabbat. All right, because you work so much. You know what I'm saying? You know you I mean, there's many ways. You know what I'm saying? You slip up. You know what I'm saying? Pop your woman on the Shabbat. You know, realize or your woman seduce you and you give in to it. There's many ways we slip and fall, man. Okay, but the thing is, you gotta know when you slip and get up, man. Okay, and rebuke that spirit. Okay, don't turn to the bottle to where it's gonna add more spirits, and you really messed up because now, you know what comes with that drunkenness spirit, reveling, all right, brawling, all right, combativeness, okay, that fake tough guy spirit. We've seen it, all right. We've all seen it. You've been around long enough. You've seen different brothers who've been who had to deal with that demon. Some brothers, you know, they deal with it and they handle it. Some brothers, you know, it takes them out, and they get tossed by the wayside. All right, it's on that individual brother whether how he's gonna fight, if he's gonna allow it to consume him, or if he's gonna fight and pray, fast and pray that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai get that demon up off of him. Because that's all it is, man. Okay, we battling ourselves here. All right, we not battling nobody else. Okay, you may feel like, damn, this brother, his faith stronger than mine. You know, he in the spirit more than me. Am I right? This, that, and the third. That's all Satan. Every man is given his own portion, and by you having your mind opened up, all right, you out there on them highways and byways, you have a portion. It's just you gotta fight, all right, so that you can stand in your lot. You just ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, get this and not be tempted, not be tried. Okay, the spirit of wisdom has to try you. Okay, and it tries you through discipline. Okay, and what's discipline? The keeping of the laws, the doing the right thing. And we're gonna read that, you know, what the true keeping of the law is. It's the law of faith. All right, that overrides all the 613 laws. All right, the law of faith. Okay, treating our brother as thyself, or first loving Yahweh with all thy heart and all thy might and all thy soul, and loving thy brother as thyself. Okay, so going back, Romans 7:14, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. All right, because we're sold under sin. Okay, when you go to 2nd Esdras, it speaks about the stony heart that was put in Adam. All right, we all have it. Okay, ever since the garden, we've all been made to go off. Okay, this is why we're in the situation we're in. Okay, it says, if then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. All right, you're not going to walk this thing 100% perfect according to the law. You're going to be perfect according to the faith in Yahweh Shai. That's what's going to bring you near to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's what makes you a friend to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Remember the man, all right, the publican that came in the temple and didn't lift up his head. He just beat on his chest, all right. A brother can post that in the comment section, Baba Kushar. When he beat on his chest, he just said, "Forgive me, for I am a sinner. Have mercy on me." You know what I'm saying? That's the spirit we all got to be in, because we all need mercy, all right? But we don't turn to the bottle or any other thing that's going to keep us out the spirit to try to drown out that demon that's plaguing our mind. No, you fight that fucking demon head on, man. Okay? You fight that damn demon. Okay? It says, what I leave off? Verse 18 says, "For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. For the good that I would do, for the good that I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do." Now this is Paul, a man of the Lord, all right, who had the Holy Spirit on him. This is what he's saying. So, and ain't none of us on that level as Paul was. All right, Paul was on a level to where he didn't even deal with women, okay? And this is what he's saying about himself. Okay, it says, "Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man," all right? The inward man, the spirit, okay? "But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members." See, it's you versus you. And you got to recognize that. It's not you versus another brother. It's not you versus your woman. It's none of that, man. It is you versus you. Okay? 24. "O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?" And that's what Yahweh Shai is there for. All right? And that's why Yahweh Shai told us the way to get them spirits off you, these only come through fasting and prayer. I'm going to get that next. Verse 25. "I thank the Most High through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, our Lord. So then with the mind, I myself serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh, the law of sin." Okay? And this is why when we go to Galatians chapter 5 and 6, it's talking about walking in the spirit. All right? "That ye fulfill not the lust of the flesh." But first, let's get this. That's not it. Yep, here we go. Let's see. We'll get this one in we'll get the one in Mark. Mark, the 9th chapter. And damn, I just left the spot. Okay, here we go. Mark 9. And I'm gonna start at I'm going to start at 19. Mark 9 and 19. The point is in the 29th verse. It says, He answereth him and saith, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me. Now, this is a child that was dealing with, he was having seizures, you know, that's a demon. Okay, all these different ailments that we see that Esau diagnosis today, they were all happening in the ancient world, okay, 2,000 years ago. And Yahushua rebuked those spirits, okay. It says, and they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. That's a seizure. If you ever witness anybody having a seizure, that's what happens to them. You know, they have no control over their body. They get the foaming at the mouth. All right, it was a Jake that used to live around the corner from my grandmother's house. He used to have them motherfuckers. He had one so hard one time. We was just we didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? He was shaking and wallowed so much on the ground. His pants came down and he had shit stains in his drawers. And I remember because we, you know, afterward he came through and he was like, man, I gotta take my medicine. You know, and us being kids, we was clowning him and be like, yeah, you need to change your drawers too, nigga. But, you know, but that's what that is. A Caesar is a demon. That's a spirit, all right? So going back, it says, verse 21, it says, and he asked his father, how long is it ago since this came unto him? And he said, of a child, all right? And oftentimes it have cast him into the fire and into the waters to destroy him. But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Yahushua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. All right, and that's one thing you got to know and understand and believe, that Yahushua can get any demon off of you. All right? There was a brother that was a part of our camp. He went back to the spirit world. But he straight up cold turkey, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he stopped smoking glass, you know, Issachar, you know. And we would have never known if he would have never disclosed it to us, all right? But he disclosed that to us before he went back to the spirit world. He was like, yeah, man, I used to, you know what I'm saying, I was a functioning, you know, speed head. But the spirit of the Lord and cigarettes, that's what, you know, he used to smoke speed and cigarettes. But the spirit of the Lord had it to where he quit that shit cold turkey. And that's if you ever seen motherfuckers on that you can't just quit that cold turkey. All right? But the spirit of the Lord anything is possible with Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right? So going back 23, it says, Yahushua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. And this is sometimes what you got to do. You got to really, you know what I'm saying, cry unto the Lord, man. If you truly believe and you truly want to be relieved of whatever type of spirit that is that's on you, all right, that's forcing you to, you know, turn other ways, you know, towards the bottle. You know, you may get to, you know, beating your woman for no goddamn reason, you know, talking crazy, you know what I'm saying, the brethren, you know, all kind of shit you may start doing, all right? It's because you need the Lord to strengthen your faith. All right? Don't turn and get into that, you know, that rebelling spirit. All right? You supposed to turn to Yahweh Shai, man. All right. It says, bear with me a second. Silence this phone. It says, verse 25. It says, when Yahweh Shai saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him, and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried and rent him sore, and came out of him, and he was as one dead, insomuch that many said he is dead. But Yahweh Shai took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he was come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, why could not we cast him out? And this is the point, verse 29. These are your biggest weapons that work, okay? They work. And I'm sure many brothers can attest that these two weapons Yahweh Shai said to use, they work, man. All right? Verse 29, and he said unto them, this kind can come forth by nothing but by prayer and fasting. All right? Meaning afflicting your soul. Okay? Praying. Getting closer to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. When you fast and you deprive your flesh of the pleasures, in this case, the pleasure of food, the pleasure of water, which really is a necessity, those necessities, when you deprive your flesh of those things, you become more in tune in the spirit, all right? I remember one time I fasted for 3 days, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't never been, what's the word I'm looking for? That third day, man, it was all spirit. It had nothing to do with my flesh. The reason I got through it was through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, praying, all right? You know, being totally tapped in, all right? So sometimes you got to do those things. Sometimes you got to fast these spirits up off you, all right? So let's go to the book of Galatians 5. I said I didn't want to make this long. I'm already going longer than what I expected, but it's all good. We in the spirit. Galatians 5. I'm going to start at 13, then I'm going to jump down to 16, all right? It says, for brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, all right? And that's what you can't do in this thing. Don't use the liberty Yahweh Shai has given us as an occasion to your flesh, all right? But by love serve one another. Now jumping down to the 16th verse, all right? It says, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, okay? For the flesh lusteth against the spirit. Remember we was reading Romans the 7th chapter earlier, all right? You're going to constantly have battles of the flesh and the spirit, all right? But it's on you to conquer those, fight, all right? And we just read in Mark the 9th chapter, the 29th verse, your two most best tools, your weapons to fight, all right? Fasting and praying, all right? It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, all right? Now peep this. It says, which are these? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings. All right. You could be a bro that's envying another bro because he's in the spirit. He you may have came in at the same time, but his faith is higher than yours. You ain't supposed to be like that, man. Okay? It says envyings, murders, drunkenness, all right? That's the flesh. You want to get drunk and be drunk, all right? All right? And be out of pocket and out of character. That's of the flesh, man. That's the works of the flesh. That's not being in the spirit. All right? Revelings and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. All right? And this is why we, like the scriptures tell us, that the bride have made herself ready. You can't be that in that type of spirit and think that you're going to make it, man. You're not going to inherit the kingdom. You got to correct yourself. All of us have to. All right? We all have to come correct. All right? Make ourselves ready for the bridegroom. All right? So from here, you could continue to read the last chapter, but let's jump, the last few verses in that chapter. I want to jump to the 6th chapter. All right, because Paul speaks about restoring, restoring brothers. And this is where the brotherhood comes in. All right. Even if you didn't want the brotherhood to come in, but the brotherhood is needed. A cuss out may be needed. Counsel. All right. So that you can restore your spirit, man, and get back on the right track. All right. It says, verse 1, Galatians 6:1, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Right? This is what the body of the brotherhood for. This is your true, the brotherhood is the true therapy, so to speak. You got the scriptures and you got the brotherhood. That's your therapy, man. All right? It says, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of the Messiah. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. You see that? You got to be able to prove your own work. Prove your own self. All right? Do the things necessary. If you need to fast, do it. All right? If you need to refrain from being around your woman, or whatever the case is, man, do it. So that you can get yourself in order, man. Okay? If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. All right? You got to do what and you only know. All right? You know what's going on with you. You know if you got a spirit of envy on you. You know if you got the spirit of that drinking demon on you. You know. And most of the time, just leave the fucking drink alone. You know? Don't be like Pookie from New Jack City. You be calling me, man. Man, fight that demon. Fast and pray. All right? It says, reading verse 5 again, for every man shall bear his own burden. Let him, verse 4 again, it says, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. See that? See, we all use that for Esau, but it can come right back on your head. All right. For he that soweth to this flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Okay? So really truly ask yourself, what are you sowing to? Are you truly sowing in the Spirit, or are you sowing to the flesh? All right? It says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. All right? And you can't have that that spirit of and we saw this spirit too. I just want to know. And Jake wasn't sure of himself, ultimately because he wasn't doing the right thing, wasn't studying, you know what I'm saying? And when he around the brethren and whatnot, get some drink up in him, it all comes out. All right? But that comes from when you're not around brethren, what are you doing? All right? You should be sowing towards the Spirit. All right? So you can reap life everlasting. All right? Verse 10. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith. All right? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But then it goes into circumcision and whatnot. But yeah, man, we it's too late in the game for you not to be fighting. If you don't want to fight, trust and believe Satan gonna take you right out of the race. All right, and you're gonna be out there. All right, and we don't want that for no brother, no true brother who's of the household of faith. All right, we want you to fight, man, just like we fight. So Lord will, this was edifying to the hopeful elect out there. All right, and exhorting, to keep fighting. All right, fight the good fight of faith, man. All right, because we almost here at the finish line. We ain't got time to be getting weak and weary. All right, we should be getting stronger. All right. The house of Saul, these other Israelite groups, they're getting weaker and weaker. We're supposed to be getting stronger and stronger. All right, the house of David. So I'm going to leave it there. Lord will, again, this was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all praise unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And we on to the next video. Shalom.